Welcome to the Cursed Archive. Case file number 003. The Echo Radio. This file begins with a sound. Listen closely. This is the sound not of a modern phone, but of an 80-year-old vacuum tube capturing a moment of terror.
He's here. He's in the house. He said he would. Oh God, the back door lock.
A long, agonizing silence, followed by a new sound. That was the final audio segment documented by Arthur Vance, 42 years old. 4 days after that recording was made, he was reported missing. When police entered his workshop, they found his high-end digital recorder on the floor. They found his audio log, but Arthur Vance was gone. The sound you just heard was not a call for help. It was an echo. To understand what happened to Arthur, we must first understand his obsession. We must go back 30 days to the day the radio arrived.
Arthur Vance was, by all accounts, a man of profound skill and profound loneliness. He was a professional restorationist, not of furniture or art, but of sound. He ran a small, dedicated YouTube channel, documenting his meticulous process of bringing dead analog audio equipment back to life. He was a man, in his own words, obsessed with the warmth of analog. He believed modern digital sound was a hollow ghost. He would soon learn what a real ghost sounds like. On October 1st, 2024, Arthur posted a new vlog. This archive has preserved the footage. In it, he is ecstatic, giddy. He stands next to a large wooden cathedral-style radio, a 1941 Philco. Its wooden arches and dark fabric-covered speaker gave it the appearance of a coffin standing upright. He speaks to his camera, his voice beaming. This is the one, a true grail piece. I found it at an estate sale, a lovely old farmhouse in the Illinois prairie, way out past Chicago. The seller said it's been in the attic since her grandfather passed in the 1950s, not plugged in for 70 years. He pans the camera over the radio's dusty, cobweb-covered frame. The cabinet is perfect, no warping. And look, he films the back. All the original tubes are still in it. This is a time capsule. He was more correct than he knew. Arthur spent the next week not on the electronics, but on the cabinet. His journal, which we recovered, details his love for the process. He didn't just want it to work, he wanted it to be perfect. He stripped the old, crackling varnish. He steamed out a small dent on the side. He re-oiled the wood until it glowed with a deep red-brown luster. He was meticulous. He was careful. But he failed to research the house where the radio was born. Had he done so, he would have known that the farmhouse was not lovely. In 1948, it was the site of a brutal, unsolved anomaly. Arthur documented everything. His logs, his journals, his recordings. They form the basis of this file. The archive has preserved them as a warning. If you believe these records, these warnings must be saved from the static of time. Subscribe to the Cursed Archive. Your support is vital to our work.
On October 10th, the restoration of the electronics began. Arthur was a master. He worked with the patience of a surgeon, replacing the brittle wax paper capacitors, testing each vacuum tube, finding a rare original 6SK7 tube on eBay. He documented every step. His goal was to hear a 1940s baseball game, to hear history. On October 15th, at 9:17 p.m., he powered it on for the first time. This is from his workshop audio log.
First test. Power is stable. Tubes are warm. We have static. Beautiful. As expected. The hiss is consistent. The capacitors are holding. Now, let's see if we can find a signal. His journal entry from 10 p.m. that night continues the story. I left it running, he wrote, to burn in the new caps. I went to the kitchen to make coffee. The workshop is at the other end of the house, and I swear, I heard a voice. It wasn't a broadcaster. It wasn't music. It was just a man. A deep voice, muffled but clear. He said, "You burned the dinner again, didn't you?" I ran back to the workshop. By the time I got there, nothing. Just static. I must be tired. The fumes from the solder, maybe. But it sounded so real. He was not tired. The next night, October 16th, it happened again. This time, he was recording. He sat in the dark, his high-end digital recorder plugged directly into the radio's speaker output. For an hour, nothing. And then, at 10:03 p.m., the static thinned. It became less like a roar and more like a curtain. And through the curtain came the woman's voice. Faint, nervous, as if in the next room. I tried, Thomas. You never appreciate me. You never do. Arthur, in his audio log, is ecstatic. It's not a signal, it's a crosstalk. An atmospheric echo trapped in the components? I've never heard anything like this. The acoustics of the wood? The original vacuum tubes? It's catching a ghost. He was wrong. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't an echo. It was a wire.
Arthur Vance became obsessed. He was no longer a restorationist. He was an archaeologist. He abandoned his other projects. He stopped posting on his YouTube channel. His subscribers began to worry. But Arthur was busy. He sat night after night in his workshop, in the dark, with his headphones on, listening. This is from his audio log, dated October 21st. Log, day 5. The signal, if I can call it that, is clearer. They are named Thomas and Eleanor. I know this because he yelled it. Thomas, he seems volatile. She, Eleanor, is terrified. Always terrified. They're arguing about money. Always money. His log, day 22. Log, day 12. The conversation, it's sequential. This is the impossible part. It's not a random echo. I am listening to a story. Yesterday, they argued about a broken dish. Today,
today, she is apologizing for it. This isn't a recording. This is a chronology. The technician had become a voyeur. He was listening to the slow, agonizing 30-day collapse of a marriage that had ended 76 years ago. He felt protective of Eleanor. He grew to hate Thomas. He wrote in his journal, "He's a bully, a brute. If I could, I would. I don't know." His log, day 27. Log, day 21. It's getting worse. Thomas, he's accusing her of seeing someone. The anger. I had to turn it off. I had to rip the headphones off. The hate in his voice, it felt physical. It made the workshop cold. This was the first time Arthur felt fear. It finally prompted him to research the house, not the radio, but the source. He drove to the county records office. He searched the online newspaper archives, and he found it. The Chicago Tribune, December 12, 1948. The headline, "Tragedy at Rural Farmhouse." Police, he read, were called to the remote home to find Eleanor Vance deceased. The scene was described as brutal. The husband, Thomas Vance, was the only suspect. A statewide manhunt was issued. But Thomas was never found. He vanished. The car was still in the barn. His money still in the bank. He simply walked away from the scene and disappeared. The case went cold. Arthur's audio log from that night is different. His voice is no longer excited. It is trembling. I'm not listening to a ghost story. I'm not listening to an echo. I'm listening to a story. A 30-day countdown to her death. I have to know. I have to know what happened to him. I have to listen to the end.
Arthur stopped sleeping. His journal entries became frantic. He was no longer just an investigator. He was a witness. He was listening for clues, for the missing piece. Log, day 28. He knows. Thomas knows she's planning to leave. He found her suitcase, hidden under the bed. The radio, a long, agonizing pause in his recording. The radio was just static for an hour, and then just breathing. Heavy, angry breathing from his side. Log, day 29. She's terrified. She's trying to use the phone. It's dead. He cut the line. He's outside, just watching her. This brings us to the final day. Day 30, October 30th, 2024. The final recording. The recording that opened this file. He's here. He's in the house. He said he would. Oh God, the lock, the back door lock. Arthur, in his own audio log, is sobbing. I heard it. I heard her. Oh God, Eleanor, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
He wept for minutes. He was horrified. But the recording from the radio wasn't over. Through the speakers, after the scream, after the silence, came a new sound. Not Thomas, not Eleanor. A sound of movement, a heavy object being dragged. For minutes, followed by the sound of digging. And then, a new voice. The voice of Thomas, but different. Not distant, not an echo. It was clear. It was close, as if he had leaned down and was speaking directly into the microphone of the radio. Arthur's log records this. The final words from the 1948 broadcast, a voice, deep, calm, and present. I know you're listening. Arthur stops crying. His breathing is frantic. His voice in his own log is a gasp. It's not a recording, it's a connection. The radio, it's a bridge. He's not a ghost. He's a chair scrapes loudly. Arthur is backing away from his workbench. He is whispering, "Oh God, no, he knows. He knows I'm..." And from the radio, now perfectly silent, one last transmission. Not an echo, a reply. Thomas's voice, cold and clear and close. And now it's your turn. The recording ends. Police were called 4 days later by his worried subscribers. An online welfare check. They found the workshop. The digital recorder was on the floor, its battery dead. Arthur Vance was gone, vanished. The only thing missing from his workshop was Arthur himself. And the radio? The 1941 Philco Cathedral? It was on. It was sitting on the workbench, plugged in, and playing 1940s jazz. A clear, warm, perfect signal. The officer in his report noted one strange thing. The workshop was freezing cold, and it smelled faintly of burnt dinner. Case file 003, the Echo radio, is closed. But this file leads us to a new, disturbing question. What happens when the object doesn't just connect to the past, but writes the future? Which brings us to case file 004, the cursed typewriter.